Hello Nodiatis, this is Brother, and this is the tutorial on enchanting. What is an enchanting stone? An enchanting stone is an item that you can use to give bonus stats on nearly all of your armor and weapons, including your pets. The only exceptions are arrows and your gem pouch. Technically, enchanting stones redistribute stats, since for every bonus in a stat means you have to choose a different stat in which you suffer a penalty. What do you need for making an enchanting stone? You make an enchanting stone using the enchanting rod. Here it is. And you can buy it from the general store in Town 2, Strawnhand. It's the general store, and it's right there. Cheap, 600. In addition, you need the enchanting rod and resources. There are 20 resources used in enchanting, and they are listed below. Resources are the basic building blocks for enchanting stones. You can harvest the resources themselves, or you can purchase them from the auction house. And the auction house is down here in the lower left of your applet, and there, and then you can take your pick. A reminder, you must be a paid account in order to purchase items from the auction house. So once you have an enchanting rod, in addition, and you'll need the resources and a sufficient number of energy, that's physical stamina, that's the green bar. You need a sufficient amount of mana, that's mental stamina, that's the blue bar, and the requisite skills. Higher powered stones require more energy, more mana, and more skills. So let's make an enchanting stone. What do? You have your enchanting rod in your inventory. I'll put it up here so you can see better, top right. You have your enchanting rod, you right click it, and you scroll down to use tool, and this opens up the enchanting rod window. Put a resource in the left, got some twigs here, put a resource in the right, and click submit. Alright, and that's the basic method for creating an enchanting stone. Once the game finishes the crafting in progress, it will produce the stone and it appears in your inventory. There it is. To use the stone, you right click the stone, go down to use tool, and then you overlay it, just hover it above that item which you want to modify, which you want to enchant. So let's go ahead and put it there. And after a few seconds, your piece of equipment will come back with modified stats. And you see there it has +1 and -1 that was modified. How do I increase my enchanting skill? As of April 2014, there are 4 ways to increase or augment your enchanting skill. And here they are. First, the enchanting skill itself, and that can be found under the Artistry tab, and it's right there. So make sure you set it to active, and the next time you create an enchanting stone, if it's the right size, you'll gain experience in enchanting. Additionally, you can augment your enchanting skill via the Resourcefulness tab and with the Naturalist skill. There it is. Okay. 2 more ways. The Rune of Invention. This one requires clan membership, and I don't have mine equipped yet, so I'll go ahead and equip it right now. And there it is, Rune of Invention. I have an epic version here, and this one gives me +10, allows you to craft items 10 skill points above your normal capabilities. And the 4th way is the Dragon Sorrow Shield. And here is my Dragon Sorrow Shield. I've already up-tiered it to rank 6, and it is ridiculously expensive. It is a legendary piece. This is not for the faint of heart. I have a project to stay with stonecrafting for my Nodiatis career, and so I've spent more than 300 million gold trying to get this piece, and well, long story short, I'm going for plus 40 stones, which is bonkers. Okay. Resources. Before I get to more examples, you need to know about the resource types. And as I said before, there are 20 resources used in enchanting. In the white box below, we'll do a little pretty much thing here. There you go. You'll see that there are 12 resources on the left, and these particular resources have a one-to-one correspondence to the 12 character stats, the corresponding 12 stats that we find in Nodiatis. And what are they? Here we have under melee, we have strength, dexterity, physical stamina. Under magic stats, intelligence, concentration, mental stamina. Under defense, we have agility, contravention, and durability. And recovery stats, physical resilience, mental resilience, and regeneration. 12 resources correspond to each of these 12 stats. But in addition, you'll see in the boxed there, you have the chance resources. And these don't have that one-to-one correspondence, but rather, when we use those resources in enchanting, they produce one of 3 predetermined stats. We don't know what it'll be, it's random, but it will be one of those stats, and you can see what they are down there in the box. Each time that you use a chance resource, it increases the difficulty of making the desired stone by a factor of 3. Okay, so let's start examples and explain the finer points of enchanting as we get to them. Alright, up here we have the studded leather torso. Now, studded leather torso has some inherent stat bonuses. It's got +2 to strength, +1 to agility, and +2 to durability. The maximum power of any particular stone used to enchant a piece of equipment is twice the total number of its stats. And I'll say that again. The maximum power of any particular stone used to enchant a piece of equipment is twice the total number of its stats. And so we look here and we add up the stats. That's 2 + 1 + 2 is 5. When we go twice that number, we double that, and that's 10. So this piece of equipment can hold at most a +10 enchanting stone. It can hold less. It can be enchanted with a +8 or +9 stone, but you really want to maximize the stone, maximize the power of each stone for each of your equipment pieces that you want to enchant. The higher power or level of the stone, the more skill, of course, it's going to require in order to produce it. And a +10 stone, I think, requires 33 or 34 skill points. All right, so I want to boost the, say, for example, the strength that this piece of equipment will give me. The maximum stone it can hold is +10. So I want a +10 strength stone. And remember that when you choose a stat to increase, you must also choose a stat to decrease. And so +10 strength, -10 intelligence. So the specific resources we want are those resources that will produce the desired stats. So we look down to the resource list, okay, and we see that for strength, the corresponding resource is die. So we need a tier 10 die. And for intelligence, it's a scale. So we need a tier 10 scale. All right, so I've got them here ready. We open up the enchanting rod, right-click, use tool, and then we put the die in the left column, and then we put the scale in the right column. Okay, so the left column is the positive stat, the right column is the negative stat. Okay, and we want to make sure that we pair them horizontally. It's very important. That's how creating stones works. Your resources must always be paired. And then we click submit. Simple as that. So when the new stone is produced, we will right-click it and click on Use Tool. There's the enchanting stone. Right-click it, Use Tool. And we'll put it on this studded leather torso. If the stone is too powerful for that particular item, the game will just spit it back out. And it will appear again in your inventory. No harm done. But here we go. The Sunny Leather torso now has, you can see it, it has a plus 10 bonus to strength. So instead of just plus 2 strength, it gives you plus 12 strength. And the penalty is noted there as well, minus 10 to intelligence. All right. You can also split your stones. Here we have a higher end shield. This is has Collided Demon Skull Shield, and it has an inherent stat bonus of plus 12 to durability. So we want to know what the maximum power stone that this shield can take. Go 12, we double it, 24. So it's a plus 24 stone. And we're going to split the stats for this. We're going to spread the plus 24 points into 2 or more stats. So I want to make a plus 10 durability, plus 14 regen, minus 10 to intelligence, and minus 14 to physical resilience. So we gather the mats. We have here plank for durability. We have a scale for intelligence. We have here an oil for regeneration and an ingot for physical resilience. Let's go ahead and open up the enchanting rod, and we'll place the resources accordingly. Left side are the positive stats, right side are the negative sides. Okay, here's another finer point of enchanting. You'll notice here that I didn't use a tier 14 oil. It's a tier 18 oil. That's okay. Really, it's okay. What the game will do is take the lowest of the paired resources, the tier of the lowest paired resource, and that will dictate the tier of both stats. So this will automatically become a tier 14 bonus to, or plus 14 bonus to regeneration rather than plus 18. Okay. You can be lazy that way. You could take the time to down tier it to tier 14. You might even come away with some extra oils in the process, but if you're lazy, you can do that. And so let's look at the finished product. There it is. It's a bit out of order as we've listed here. That's okay. It's just following a systematic ordering of the stats. Good. Right click, use, enchant. All right. So for here, we had a tier 10 plank, a tier 18, that's what we used, tier 18 oil, tier 10 scale, and a tier 10 ingot. You notice that I paired the regen stat with the physical resilience stats. That's the oil, the tier 14 ingot. I could also do something crazy like plank tier 28 oil, tier 10 scale, and tier 14 ingot. It would be the same thing. I'd be wasting this beautiful high-tiered oil, but if you're lazy, you can do that. Okay, no harm done. All right. Here is how to craft enchanting stones with a single stat above 30. Since resource tiers max out at tier 30, how can you get more than 30 points in a single stat? Well, intuitively, what do we think? We think we'll use a tier 19 die, because die is for strength. We can use a tier 20 die again, right? Because that gives you strength. Tier 19 sinew for agility, and a tier 20 thread for contravention. And you would be wrong, because you'll see. Let's try it. Okay, there's the 19 die, the 20 die, let's see, the sinew, 19 sinew, and 20 thread. We click submit, and the game will actually not give us the stone that we want. It will prompt, and I'll read the prompt when it comes up. When enchanting, you cannot use more than one type of any resource, even when they are different items, such as 2 types of silk, or in this case, 2 types of dye. So here, this has become problematic. We can't use the same resource and the same stone. So we have to be trixies about this. All right, so this is where we use the chance resources, okay? They're in the box. We can still use the die. So tier 20 die, tier 19 sinew, tier 20 thread, but we're going to have to use tier 19 something else. And we have our choice. We can use prey, because that has a chance for strength. We could use wood, because that has a chance for strength as well. Or we could use ore. That also has a chance for strength. I'm going to use a tier 19 wood. Alright. So in place of the tier 19 die, I have here a tier 19 wood. There it is. Okay. 4 different resources for the stone. Let's click submit. Let's see what happens. You'll notice that because I'm using the tier 19 wood, strength is not the only possibility. It could end up with strength, physical stamina, or intelligence. So to try to demonstrate this, I'll create 2 more stones, just like it, or using the same resources. We don't know if it's going to be just like it, in hopes of hitting by chance, the strength for this piece of wood. One more time. I could also use, let's see, the ore, right? The tier 19 ore, because that produces strength as well. Tier 20 die, and then the same. I could also even, if I didn't have any, let's say it was out of die completely, could I still make this stone? Absolutely. Becomes more difficult though. In this case, we'd have to use 2 chance mats in order, hoping that both of them will hit strength. So if we use a tier 19 wood and a tier 20 ore plus the rest, that has a possibility. But this is actually, again, this is 2 instances of chance resources, so it's going to be multiplied by 3 times 3. So it's a factor of 9. 9 times more difficult. Okay, let's see what happened over here. So the first time we used it, it produced a hit on strength. So the piece of wood hit on physical stamina. Okay. The second time also hit physical stamina. The third time it hit on strength. So we got one of those. We was able to produce the stone. Okay, usually 1 in 3 chance there. All right. Here is a quick question. Well, if we had the resources and we were in a pinch, we could use a tier 30 dye and a tier 30 cloth. Okay, this would produce the stone. Please, please don't do this. Please, there's a inexpensive way to produce the same stone without sacrificing, without burning through tier 30 resources. Again, we're going to use those chance mats. So if we stick down to lower tiers, as long as the sum of that is 30, we can use tier 15 mats. So a tier 15 wood, because we know that produces strength, along with a tier 15 dye. And for the chance resource for cloth, there's only one. It's the rodent piece. So it's a tier 15 rodent, and along with the tier 15 cloth. That will produce, it's a 1 in 9 chance, because we have 2 instances of chance resources, 1 in 9 chance of producing the plus 30 strength and the minus 30 concentration. I assure you, the cost of mats for the wood, the dye, the rodent, and 15, a tier 15 multiplied by 9 is far cheaper than a tier 30, any of these tier 30 resources, let alone 2 of them. So I highly recommend you try this avenue rather than going for the straight shot. You can override previous enchantment stones. Let's say you don't like the minus 10 penalty to intelligence, so you can change it to minus 10 physical resilience, and it'll create the stone. You right click it and just overlay it, and the previous stone will be overridden, and so whatever the recent stone is, that will take effect. When playing with enchanting stones, you can actually go less than 50 in a single stat, but that's not good. Actually, it's very bad. It's very, very bad. Don't do it. The game will punish you for that. And so what you need to do is, if you ever get less than 50 in a single stat, what you do is just go to your piece of equipment and just unequip it. Simple as that. Because once you're less than 50 in a stat, you can't move, you can't attack. It's terrible. So how do we remedy that? You can remove your problematic piece. Then you can also produce a null stone or a void stone. What is a void stone? Here's an example. This stone has no stats and is used to wipe enchantments. So we use tool, we go to this subtly the torso, we click it. And what this will do, it will revert the item back to its original stats, its basic stats, without enchanting stones. And there it is. To produce a null stone or a void stone, open up your enchanting rod, and then click submit. Don't worry about resources, don't put anything in the slots, just click submit. And that doesn't cost anything at all. So there's your null stone, your void stone. Some shoutouts. This is my second attempt at making this video. So shoutouts to Angel Arrow, Darren Ryujin, Nesbit across the pond. Someday I'll visit England. Hustler King, Hoodrat, Bob Jones, Grubbly Chug, Storm Wizard, Milk Chan, all those who helped critique and review my first draft of this video in order to streamline it. Thanks so much. And of course, hello to Mom. Love you, Mom. This has been a tutorial by Brother. I wish you all an abundance of gold rushes and tier 30 harvests.